Hello everyone. Let's talk a bit about Fall Guys. There's a lot been happening recently, and I'm a little bit worried about where the game is going at the moment. Where is the future of Fall Guys? What's going to happen? And you're going to see a lot of tiptoe gameplay this round, because I thought it made a suitable metaphor for the game as it is right now. I'm not sure what the next step here that Mediatonic and Epic Games are going to take, but this is definitely like a seesaw balance, or you just don't know what tile is going to be next in Tiptoe, do you? Is it going to be a real one? Or is it going to be a fake one? Is the game going to hit the jackpot and come in with a really great season soon and some awesome levels? Or is it going to continue on the slightly worrying little downward trend that we've had at the moment? There's been a lot of problems with the game over the most recent weeks, and I do feel for the developers. I know it must be really difficult. They're probably still quite a small team, let's face it. They were pretty much an indie studio when the game blew up, but they still did quite well. Obviously there were issues at the beginning, but there are issues now, and they have a lot more difficult things to keep in mind, especially when you're trying to do a lot of cross-platform stuff. Now, it hurts to say it because I love Nintendo, but I think part of the current decline is a lot to do with the Nintendo Switch, actually. The Switch is not the most powerful console. Let's face it, Nintendo has never really gone for powerful with their consoles. My first console was actually the GameCube, and I love my GameCube. I still have it. I use it every now and again. It works absolutely fine, but it was never the most powerful. And neither was the Wii, or any of the other ones. But the Switch, let's face it, it's a handheld, and it's great at what it does. But Fall Guys is actually much more demanding. Oh, I didn't make it, my poor little teammate. A much more demanding game than people realise. There's a high level of physics, and there's loads of players rendered on the screen at the same time. You might even notice on the Switch version that the other players' movements are like an old school stop motion animation. They don't have much in the way of frames, which is fine, because you got to do whatever you can to optimize the game for that platform. But I feel like the Switch is mostly to blame for so many levels being removed this season. I mean, even the new levels that we got, like Space Race and the Frogger space level one, have been removed because of things like lighting issues. I mean, there's been an epilepsy warning, I think, even in Treat Thieves, because they didn't want to remove it because it was a new level that was only available for a few days. And I feel like the Switch is definitely a lot to blame for these things, because the game has so many issues running with it. They've had to remove screen recording from it to try and make it run at least a better frame rate, and things like the lighting glitches and issues. Do I want to stop the game from being on Switch and end support for it? Not really, but maybe it should be its own thing. Maybe it should have its own different show that you can only play if you're a Switch player. Or maybe you could play it as well, but it would be like, you could call it Switch It Up. Hey, I've been thinking of that one for a bit. Or, I don't know. It needs to be possibly separate from the rest of the game in some way, so it doesn't hold the rest of the game back. But you could have different shows that everyone else could enter, because I don't think there's been so many issues. But with this amount of levels removed, the game gets very stale very quickly. So it's very much like a Tiptoe situation. What will Mediatonic and Epic Games do next? Is the game making enough money? Can they hire new people? How many people are working on the game? Are they selling a lot of skins? I will say I think the skins, some of them are definitely a little bit on the expensive side, but they do need to make their money. There's a lot of server costs with a game like this, with this many players. But the player count is also quickly dwindling. But maybe they'll reach the crown. Maybe they'll grab it. Maybe the next season is going to be incredible. I hate to talk about leaks because it goes completely against everything, but the game, they haven't really talked about much themselves. They could hype things up a bit more. The next season looks like it could be really promising. There's a bit of an underwater theme going on by the looks of it, maybe some pirates, and I'm sure most of you have realised that there is a SpongeBob thing happening there. Maybe there'll even be a SpongeBob level. Who knows? These things could be great. Epic Games has definitely helped the game to get some much better collaborations. I mean, before it was mostly just other indie games, which is fine. It's great. But we're getting some really good ones now. So let's think about the good stuff we've had since the Epic takeover. We've had some absolutely amazing season passes. Obviously, you do have to pay for them with Showbucks. But you get a lot of really good stuff. There's some fantastic skins, some great collab stuff, some awesome victory things, and some of my personal favourite colours and faceplates have come out recently. But is it enough? And is it enough to keep the game going? I hope that they are getting enough money to keep everything going. I mean, there's a lot of developer time in coming up with new levels, testing them, all that sort of fun stuff. But I really want the game to succeed. I really do. But I'm very worried. There's been some strange choices recently. And there's been a lack of communication. Obviously, they might hope that people might not realise that so many levels have been removed. But then there's been so many complaints, but you have to be in the right channels to see all these complaints. If you don't see the Discord or the Reddit, you could possibly avoid some of this stuff. But then again, almost all of the replies on their Twitter, possibly their Facebook. I don't really go on Facebook, but the replies on pretty much every platform are very telling at this point, and there's not really been much addressed. There's a lot of backlash and outrage against skill-based matchmaking. I personally think it's very poorly implemented, and takes a lot of fun out of playing the game solo, which is why I play so many sideshows and duos and squads, mostly with random teammates. Hey look, first place. We still got a teammate this round. This guy was really good. We were brilliant at Pixel Painters. It's quite sad that I think Pixel Painters and Tiptoe Finale are the only new levels still in the game, and this is this season. Come on, Mediatonic, please. This is legitimately one of my favourite games of all time. I enjoy it so much, and I just want it to succeed. Please rethink skill-based matchmaking. If you can't figure it out yet, just remove it for a while. I don't know how difficult that is in terms of coding and stuff, and I'm sure it's an Epic Games thing, they want it, because I'm pretty sure Rocket League and Fortnite all have that kind of thing. It doesn't really need it, I don't think. Hey look, another Tiptoe Finale! Are we gonna do really well, or are we gonna mess everything up? This is really becoming is it an allegory or a metaphor for the game where it stands at the moment? Am I just gonna keep falling into the slime? Or am I gonna come out successful? Who knows? Who knows? But I really, really do hope for the best with this game. It's my absolute favourite multiplayer game. And I've seen what happens when games go stale and when they go wrong. I built this channel up playing a lot of Minecraft minigames, and my favourite one is in an absolute state of disrepair these days. It's got like 200 players at any time. And I'm worried that the same thing will happen with Fall Guys if they don't take some good steps. Oh, look at that. That's a lot of crowns. You can see I've played this game a lot, and I really do care about it. It's just worrying seeing the players and the views, not just on my channel, but other Fall Guys YouTubers. Look at this poor guy, what's he doing? I don't know. They were really trying. But sometimes it's just like walking up a very steep hill, isn't it? I really appreciate the lengths that the devs have gone to with bringing this to other consoles, and how they're still coming up with great new level designs and stuff that's completely different. But it's not quite there at the moment, and I don't know if it will get there. So let's go into this final tiptoe of the video, and I'll just let you know about a big mistake that I made. This video was originally going to be about the impossible final. That's even what it was called, until I realised I accidentally deleted. See, I trod on the wrong tiptoe square and I accidentally deleted a file. Because I got a tiptoe in the Wormhole Wanderers event that no one finished. No one could beat it, because I think it was impossible. The portals never lined up, because one was on the far right side and then the other was on the far left side. And I just could never land on it, and neither could anyone else. So it got to the 5-minute timer and just ended. Nobody won the final. It's the first time I've ever seen no one win a final. ever. But hey look, I won this one! And I feel really annoyed with myself because I had the whole thing recorded and I accidentally deleted it. But hey, mistakes happen. Things like skill-based matchmaking get added to the game. Okay, I'll stop going on about that. But really, something needs to happen, something needs to change. I don't know if it's the Switch that's at fault, not enough developer time, if it's just too difficult and they're getting overwhelmed. But I think something needs to get a bit better, because the game's losing a lot of players very quickly at the moment, and it's really sad to see. Also, it is getting towards the end of the season, so a lot of people, I guess, stop playing when they finish the season pass. But I just really hope something changes. Thank you for watching this little video. Subscribe and like, and comment, actually, that really helps the video do well if you enjoyed it. And I'll see you in another one very soon, in fact. Maybe even a day after. I might try doing some daily uploads for a little bit. Goodbye!